There are things we've already tried everything for. We've talked, stayed silent, exploded on the inside, and still, nothing happened. You've lost your appetite, your sleep, even your patience with people who had nothing to do with it. You've prayed in silence and cried softly in the bathroom because no one could see how hard the battle was. And deep down, even without saying a word, your soul screams, "Why doesn't anything change?" Maybe the answer is right there. Some battles aren't yours to fight, and the more you struggle, the more you bleed inside. Sometimes the problem isn't your strength, it's the direction you're using it. It's like rowing with all you've got against the current. You exhaust yourself and don't move forward. And the worst part? You start to think it's your fault, like it's some emotional failure that you can't fix everything. But the truth is, there are things only God can fix, in His time, in His way. Trying to solve it on your own is like fixing a Swiss watch with a hammer. If you're feeling tired, maybe it's because you're trying to handle something that was never yours in the first place. It's not weakness. It's a sign that you've already given everything you had. And maybe now, it's time to stop trying to play God's role. If you've done everything you could and nothing changed, maybe it's because this was never yours to carry. But what if what comes next is exactly what will lift that weight off your chest? How many times have you felt that if it weren't for you, everything would fall apart? That if you let go for even a second, the house would collapse, work would fall behind, someone would get hurt, or the whole world would spin out of control? That has a name: emotional weight disguised as responsibility. It's like carrying a huge suitcase full of problems that aren't even yours, but you keep dragging it around because you believe you have to. And the more you try to hold it all together, the more it feels like everything's about to fall apart. Some people blame themselves for not being able to save their parents' marriage, or for not being strong enough to stop a child from going down the wrong path. Others cry in silence because they think they failed for not being able to handle work, the house, and their own mental health, all at once. But let me tell you a secret. Worry is just an attempt to control what was never in your hands to begin with. And sooner or later, that kind of pressure breaks even the strongest hearts from the inside out. Picture someone walking miles with a suitcase full of stones on their back, not knowing they could have set it down the whole time. That's how many people live, trying to fix their entire life with their bare hands, not realizing the burden they carry wasn't placed by God, but by their own need for control. And what if that suitcase falls? What if you trip from trying to be everything to everyone? Maybe what's coming next will finally show you how to let go of that weight and rediscover the lightness of living by faith. Excessive worry isn't a sign of care. It's a symptom of a soul that hasn't let go of control. It's like saying, "I trust God," while secretly making backup plans B, C, and D in case He doesn't come through in time. The truth is hard, but freeing. When we truly surrender, peace arrives before the answer. The heart stops chasing after the how and starts resting in the who. And that who is God, not your strategies. The problem is, the enemy knows the weight of anxiety all too well. He knows that if he can leave you confused inside, flooded with racing, scattered thoughts, he can pull you away from prayer. And when your mind becomes too loud, your spirit goes quiet. You try to pray, but you feel blocked, empty, as if God is far away. But it's not God who's distant. It's anxiety that builds an invisible wall between your cry and your faith. When peace disappears, it's a sign that faith has been replaced by fear disguised as responsibility. And the most dangerous part? It feels noble. I'm fighting for my family. I'm trying to fix it. But deep down, it's just the heart trying to be God in God's place. And in that desperate attempt, the soul grows tired, the mind gets lost, and the spirit becomes disconnected. But is there still a way back to that peace you've been missing so much? Jesus was direct, no sugarcoating. Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? Matthew 6, verse 27. That question hits the heart like an arrow. Because deep down, we've all worried thinking it was a way to fix things, and it never was. Worry is a silent thief. It steals the present, drains your peace, and still doesn't change tomorrow. It's like running on a treadmill, exhausting, but getting you nowhere. God didn't call us to carry what only He can sustain. Peter knew that when he wrote, "Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you." 1 Peter 5 verse 7. And cast here doesn't mean placing it gently. It means throwing it with force, like someone who knows they can't hold it any longer. You know that worry that's been stealing your sleep? God doesn't want you to just pray about it. He wants you to let it go, trust Him, and rest. That's faith in action. Look at Joseph, sold, forgotten, treated unfairly, and yet at peace. Hannah, she wept for a child, but found relief when she poured out her soul before God. And David, chased, hungry, hiding in caves, yet with psalms on his lips. They had every reason to break down, but they chose to trust. They didn't have control, but they had confidence. And maybe that same path is closer than you think. When fear shows up, and it will, the answer needs to be spiritual, not emotional. It's not about ignoring what you feel, but choosing how you'll respond. Pray, even if your voice shakes and the words are simple. When doubt creeps in, speak the word out loud, like someone taking a stand against the invisible. And if your mind starts to scream, close your eyes for a moment and say firmly, "God, I trust you," even if your heart is still trembling inside. Surrender isn't something you do just once, it's a daily exercise. How about literally writing down on paper everything that's out of your control? List names of people, situations, decisions, everything. Then pray, handing each one over to God. It may seem symbolic, but it carries power. What you write down, you acknowledge. And what you acknowledge you can't fix, you give God permission to move in. Instead of falling into despair, enter into fasting and prayer. It's not magic, it's spiritual discipline. A single day of fasting for a specific cause helps shift you from the territory of anxiety into the realm of faith. And while you fast, the flesh quiets, and the spirit hears more clearly. Life doesn't change with a snap of the fingers, but your posture changes. And that transforms everything around you. Now, if it still feels hard to let go, maybe what's missing is understanding why you're still holding on. Some hearts still smile on the outside, but are screaming on the inside, trying to look okay, when in truth, they're just trying to survive, trying to prove to God, to others, and even to themselves that they can still handle it. But God's love isn't based on your performance. He doesn't love you because of your strength. He loves you because of your identity. You are His child, and a child doesn't need to earn a place in the Father's heart. You were born with that place already secured. God isn't waiting for you to have all the answers. He just wants you to trust Him, even when you don't understand the path. That's true spiritual maturity. It's not about holding everything together all the time. It's about knowing when to let go, when to say, "I can't, but you can." That's where freedom begins, when you understand that faith isn't carrying everything alone, but letting God be God, even in your weakness. Picture a cracked jar. Not perfect, but still chosen. God isn't impressed by what the world calls strength. He sees beauty in the scars, purpose in the wounds, and usefulness even in the broken parts. That's why He chose you. Because even wounded, you still carry something that only heaven could have placed inside you. And maybe right now, what you need most isn't to prove you're strong, but to allow yourself to be cared for as a child. Stop worrying about what only God can solve. This battle isn't meant to destroy you, it's meant to position you. God didn't call you to live in constant alert, with a heavy heart and an exhausted spirit. What you call chaos, He's already fitting into purpose. Because God never wastes pain. And while you're worrying, He's already working on details you haven't even noticed yet. You don't need to prove your strength to anyone. Because the God who formed you already knows your essence, has seen your darkest days, and still chose to carry you. He validated your journey, even with all the falls. So just for today, drop your guard. Relax your shoulders and let God carry you in His arms. Yes, you can rest, because when God steps in, even what was supposed to make you fall becomes solid ground beneath your feet. If this word spoke to your heart, write in the comments, "I surrender, Lord." Say it with faith, because something spiritual moves when you take a stand. And if you know someone who's feeling overwhelmed, send this video to them. You might be the vessel God wants to use today. Some people just need the right word at the right time, and that word can come from you right now.